India has a very long and rich history. Many different kingdoms and empires rose and fell. One of the most famous periods is known as the Golden Age. This special time happened during the rule of the Gupta Empire. It lasted from around 320 CE to 550 CE. During these centuries, India saw amazing progress. There were great achievements in many fields. Science, mathematics, art, and literature flourished. People felt secure and prosperous. This allowed culture and knowledge to grow. It's called the Golden Age because it was a time of brightness and great success for India. This era was not just about wealth in gold. It was about the richness of human achievement. Thinkers and artists created wonderful works. Universities became famous centers of learning. Students came from far away to study in India. The rulers of the Gupta Empire played a big part in this. They created a strong and stable government. This stability allowed people to focus on learning and creativity. Important discoveries were made in mathematics and astronomy. Beautiful poems and plays were written. Magnificent temples and sculptures were created. These achievements made India shine brightly in the world. The term Golden Age suggests a peak of civilization. For India, the Gupta period truly represents such a peak. There was peace in most parts of the country. This peace allowed trade to grow. Merchants traveled to distant lands, bringing back wealth and new ideas. The society was well organized, the government was efficient, people followed different religions, but they lived together peacefully. This harmony also contributed to the overall progress. The legacy of the Gupta period influenced Indian culture for many centuries to come. It remains a proud chapter in India's long story. The achievements of this period were truly remarkable. They set high standards for the future. Knowledge created then, especially in numbers, spread to other parts of the world. This included the concept of zero. The stories and art from this time are still admired today. The Gupta Empire itself eventually declined. However, the golden light of its achievements continued to inspire. Understanding this period helps us understand India's great contributions to world civilization. It was a time when intellectual brilliance shone brightly. This brilliance touched almost every aspect of life in ancient India. The Gupta Empire was the main force behind this golden age. Its rulers were strong and capable leaders. They were not just conquerors, they were also patrons of learning and the arts. The dynasty was founded by Sri Gupta. However, the real foundations of the empire were laid by later kings. These rulers understood the importance of unity and good governance. They worked hard to expand their territories. They also made sure that their people were safe and well cared for. This created an environment where culture could thrive and knowledge could advance significantly. The early Gupta kings were skilled in warfare. They were also wise in administration. They built a large empire that covered much of northern India. This large area brought many different people and cultures together. The rulers managed this diversity very well. They established an efficient system of government. This system helped to maintain law and order across the vast empire. Roads were built and maintained, which helped trade and communication. The strength of the military kept enemies away. This long period of peace was very important. It allowed scholars and artists to work without fear. These rulers also understood the value of culture. They supported poets, writers, scientists and artists. Their courts were filled with talented people. The kings themselves were often learned individuals. They encouraged the pursuit of knowledge in every field. This royal patronage was a key reason for the intellectual brilliance of the age. Temples were built and universities received support. The Gupta kings promoted a culture of excellence. They wanted their empire to be known not just for its power, they wanted it to be known for its wisdom and beauty too. This vision helped shape the Golden Age. The policies of the Gupta rulers led to great economic prosperity. Agriculture was productive. Trade, both within India and with other countries, flourished. The empire issued beautiful gold and silver coins. These coins are a sign of the wealth of that time. This economic strength provided the resources needed for cultural development. It allowed for the construction of grand buildings. It supported scholars and artists. The early Gupta rulers, through their vision and actions, created the conditions necessary for a golden age. They were truly the architects of this remarkable period in Indian history. The Gupta Empire truly began to take shape with Chandragupta Wast. He ascended the throne around 320 CE. This year is often considered the start of the Gupta era. Chandragupta I was an ambitious and wise ruler. He understood the political situation of his time. North India was then divided into many small kingdoms and republics. He aimed to unite these regions under his rule. His reign marked a significant step towards building a large and powerful empire. He was different from the earlier Guptas, Srigupta and Ghatotkacha, who were likely local chiefs. Chandragupta aimed for much more. One of Chandragupta's most important political moves was his marriage. He married Kumaradevi, a princess from the Lichavi tribe. The Lichavis were a powerful and respected ancient clan. This marriage was very significant. It brought great prestige and political advantage to Chandragupta I. It likely helped him expand his territory and influence. He was proud of this alliance. He even issued gold coins that showed both himself and Queen Kumaradevi. This showed the importance of the Lichavi connection in his rise to power. His kingdom grew to include Magadha and parts of modern-day Uttar Pradesh and Bihar. Chandragupta first adopted the grand title of Maharajadiraja. This means Great King of Kings. This title showed his ambition and his superior status compared to other local rulers. It signaled the emergence of a new imperial power in India. He laid a strong foundation for the empire. His son, Samudragupta, would later build upon this foundation. Chandragupta's reign, though perhaps not as vast in conquest as his son's, was crucial. He established the core of the Gupta kingdom. He created the stability and the resources needed for future expansion. His foresight was instrumental. His rule lasted for about 15 years, until around 335 CE. In this relatively short period, he transformed a small principality into a significant kingdom. He chose his son Samudragupta as his successor. This was a wise choice, as Samudragupta proved to be a brilliant ruler. Chandragupta I's main contributions were political consolidation and strategic alliances. He set the stage for the Gupta Empire to become a dominant force in India. His work was essential for the Golden Age that followed. He is rightly remembered as a key figure in the rise of this great empire. Samudragupta, the son of Chandragupta I, was a remarkable ruler. He ascended the throne around 335 CE. He was a military genius. He greatly expanded the Gupta Empire. His conquests are detailed in a famous inscription. This inscription is called the Prayaga Prashasti, or the Allahabad Pillar inscription. It was composed by his court poet, Harishena. The inscription lists the kings and regions that Samudragupta conquered or made subservient. It paints a vivid picture of his military power and his ambition. He is often called the Napoleon of India because of his extensive military victories and strategic skills. The Prayaga Prashasti describes his campaigns across the Indian subcontinent. He defeated many kings in Aryavata, the northern region. He then marched south along the eastern coast. He subdued rulers in Dakshinapatha, the southern region. He also brought forest kingdoms and frontier states under his influence. Some distant rulers, like those in Sri Lanka, even sent him tribute. Samudragupta's military strategy was effective. He annexed some territories directly into the Gupta Empire. With other rulers, he established a relationship of overlordship. They were allowed to keep their thrones but had to pay homage and tribute to him. Despite being a great warrior, Samudragupta was also a man of culture. He was a patron of art, literature, and learning. The Prayaga Prashasti itself is a fine piece of Sanskrit poetry. This shows the high level of literary development during his time. Samudragupta was also a skilled musician. Some of his gold coins show him playing the veena, an Indian stringed instrument. This image highlights his artistic talents and his appreciation for the arts. He was a multifaceted personality. He combined the qualities of a fierce conqueror with those of a refined patron of culture. This balance was important. Samudragupta's reign was long and successful. It lasted for about 45 years, until around 380 CE. He created a vast and well-administered empire. This empire enjoyed peace and prosperity. His military strength ensured security. His patronage of arts and learning contributed to the cultural flowering of the Golden Age. He performed the Ashvamedha sacrifice, an ancient Vedic ritual. This ritual was performed by powerful kings to proclaim their sovereignty. Samudragupta's rule laid a very strong economic and political base. This base allowed his son, Chandragupta II, to take the empire to even greater heights of glory and achievement. Section 5, Chandragupta II, Vikramaditya, the zenith of Gupta glory. Chandragupta II, also known as Vikramaditya, was the son of Samudragupta. He ruled from about 380 CE to 415 CE. His reign is often considered the peak of the Gupta Empire. It was a time of great power, prosperity, and cultural achievements. Chandragupta II inherited a large and stable empire from his father. He further expanded it through conquests and strategic alliances. One of his most notable achievements was the conquest of the western Kshatrapas. These were Saka rulers in western India. This victory gave the Guptas control over important seaports on the western coast. This control over western ports boosted India's trade with other parts of the world. Trade with regions like the Roman Empire increased. This brought immense wealth into the Gupta Empire. Chandragupta II adopted the title of Vikramaditya. This title means son of prowess or son of valor. It is associated with a legendary king known for his wisdom, justice, and generosity. By adopting this title, Chandragupta II presented himself as an ideal ruler. His court was famous for its brilliance. It is said that his court was adorned by the Navaratnas, or 9 gems. These were 9 exceptionally talented scholars and artists. The famous Chinese Buddhist pilgrim Fa Hien visited India during Chandragupta II's reign. Fa Hien traveled extensively in the Gupta Empire for several years. He wrote a detailed account of his travels. His writings provide valuable information about the conditions in India at that time. Fa Hien described the empire as peaceful and well-governed. He noted the prosperity of the people and the efficiency of the administration. He mentioned the charitable institutions and the flourishing of Buddhism alongside Hinduism. His account confirms that this period was indeed a golden age. People were generally happy and secure. Chandragupta II was a devout Vaishnava, a follower of Lord Vishnu. However, he was tolerant of other religions like Buddhism and Jainism. He continued the Gupta tradition of patronizing arts, literature, and science. Under his rule, Sanskrit literature reached new heights. The cultural achievements of his reign were remarkable. The empire enjoyed internal peace and external security. This allowed for a great flowering of intellectual and artistic activities. Chandragupta II, Vikramaditya's reign, truly represents the high point of the Gupta Golden Age. His leadership ensured that the empire was strong, prosperous, and culturally vibrant. Section 6, Beacons of Knowledge, Nalanda and Takshashila. The Gupta period was a time of great learning. India had famous universities that attracted students from many countries. 2 of the most well-known centers of education were Nalanda and Takshashila. While Takshashila was older, its peak predating the Guptas, it continued to be an important place for advanced studies. Nalanda, located in modern-day Bihar, rose to great prominence during the Gupta era and afterwards. These universities were like beacons of knowledge. They played a crucial role in preserving and advancing various fields of study. They helped to create the intellectual brilliance of the Golden Age. Nalanda Mahavihara, or the Great Monastery of Nalanda, became a renowned international university. It was particularly famous for Buddhist studies. However, it also taught other subjects like logic, grammar, medicine, metaphysics, and astronomy. The university had a vast library. It was housed in multiple buildings, some of which were several stories high. Thousands of students and teachers from India, China, Tibet, Korea, and Southeast Asia studied and taught at Nalanda. The standards of education were very high. Admission was difficult, often requiring rigorous entrance examinations. The atmosphere was one of serious scholarship and debate. Takshashila, located in ancient Gandhara, now in Pakistan, was another ancient center of learning. It had been famous for centuries before the Guptas. Scholars like Panini, the great Sanskrit grammarian, and Chanakya, the advisor to Chandragupta Maurya, were associated with Takshashila. During the Gupta period, it continued to be respected, though Nalanda was gaining more prominence. Takshashila offered education in a wide range of subjects. These included philosophy, law, medicine, archery, and military science. It did not have a centralized campus like Nalanda. Instead, individual teachers taught small groups of students. These universities were home to many famous scholars. Their work significantly contributed to the intellectual heritage of India and the world. For example, Aryabhata, the great mathematician and astronomer, is believed to have studied or taught at Nalanda or a similar institution. These centers of learning fostered an environment of critical thinking and innovation. They were not just places for rote learning. They encouraged discussion and the pursuit of new knowledge. The existence of such advanced educational institutions is a testament to the high value placed on knowledge during the Golden Age. They were crucial for the many discoveries of this era. Section 7. Numbers and Stars, Scientific Marvels of the Age. The Gupta period witnessed extraordinary advancements in mathematics and astronomy. Indian scholars made fundamental contributions. These discoveries had a lasting impact on the world. One of the most important developments was in the field of mathematics. Indian mathematicians of this era understood the concept of zero or shunya. They used it as a placeholder and as a number in calculations. This was a revolutionary idea. It made complex calculations much easier. The decimal system, based on powers of 10, was also well established in India during this time. This system is now used worldwide. Aryabhata was a brilliant mathematician and astronomer from this period. He lived in the late 5th and early 6th centuries CE. His most famous work is the Aryabhatya. This book covers various topics in mathematics and astronomy. In mathematics, Aryabhata provided an accurate approximation of pi as 3.1416. He worked on algebra and trigonometry. He gave solutions to linear and quadratic equations. His work laid the foundation for many later developments in mathematics. The Aryabhatiya was written in Sanskrit verse, a common practice for scholarly texts at that time. It shows the high level of mathematical thinking. In astronomy, Aryabhata made remarkable discoveries. He explained that the Earth rotates on its axis. This rotation causes day and night. This was a very advanced idea for his time. Most other ancient civilizations believed that the sun and stars revolved around a stationary Earth. Aryabhata also gave scientific explanations for solar and lunar eclipses. He understood that eclipses were caused by the shadows of the Earth and the Moon. He correctly calculated the timing of eclipses. He also made accurate calculations of the length of the year. His astronomical models were highly sophisticated. Another important scholar of this period was Varahamihira. He lived in the 6th century CE. He was an astronomer, mathematician, and astrologer. He wrote several influential books, including the Panchasiddhantika. This book summarizes 5 earlier astronomical treatises. Varahamihira also made contributions to trigonometry and arithmetic. The scientific advancements of the Gupta period were not isolated. They were part of a larger culture of inquiry and learning. These scholars built upon earlier Indian traditions. Their work was then transmitted to other cultures, including the Arab world. From there, it eventually reached Europe, influencing global scientific progress. Section 8. Expressions of Genius, Art, Literature and Culture. The Gupta period is rightly celebrated for its magnificent achievements in art and literature. This era saw a great flowering of creativity. Sanskrit literature reached a level of refinement and elegance that became a standard for centuries. The most famous writer of this age was Kalidasa. He was a poet and playwright of extraordinary talent. His works are considered masterpieces of classical Sanskrit literature. His most famous play is Abhijnana Shakuntalam, or The Recognition of Shakuntala. This play tells a beautiful love story and is admired for its poetic language and emotional depth. Kalidasa also wrote other famous works. These include the plays Malavi-Kagnimitram and Vikramorvashiyam. He also composed epic poems like Raghuvamsha, or Dynasty of Raghu, and Kumara Sambhava, or Birth of Kumara. His lyrical poem, Meghaduta, or The Cloud Messenger, is renowned for its vivid imagery and tender emotions. Kalidasa's writings showcase the cultural sophistication of the Gupta era. They deal with themes of love, duty, nature, and heroism. The language used is polished and expressive. Many other writers and poets also contributed to the rich literary landscape of this period. The Puranas, important Hindu religious texts, were also compiled and edited during this time. Art and architecture also reached new heights during the Gupta period. Sculptors created beautiful images of Hindu deities, Buddha figures, and bodhisattvas. Gupta sculpture is known for its grace, elegance, and spiritual quality. The artists achieved a mastery of form and expression. Fine examples of Gupta art can be found at places like Sarnath, Mathura, and Deoghar. The Dashavatara temple at Deogarh is one of the earliest surviving Hindu stone temples. It has exquisite carvings depicting scenes from Hindu mythology. This period saw the development of a distinct style of temple architecture. This style influenced temple building in India for many years. The cave paintings of Ajanta and Ellora are among the greatest artistic achievements of ancient India. While the Ellora caves were developed over a longer period, some of the finest work at Ajanta belongs to the Gupta age and the subsequent Vakataka period, who were contemporaries and had marital ties with the Guptas. The murals at Ajanta depict scenes from the Jataka tales, stories of Buddha's previous lives, and other Buddhist themes. These paintings are remarkable for their vibrant colors, expressive figures, and detailed compositions. They provide a vivid glimpse into the life and beliefs of that time. The artistic legacy of the Gupta period is immense. It continues to inspire awe and admiration. Section 9. Commerce, coinage, and coexistence, a prosperous society. The Gupta Empire enjoyed considerable economic prosperity. This wealth was built on a strong agricultural base and flourishing trade. Farmers produced surplus food which supported the population and the cities. Trade networks were extensive. They connected different parts of India. There was also significant international trade. Indian merchants traded with distant lands. These included the Roman Empire in the west, China in the east, and various kingdoms in Southeast Asia. This trade brought valuable goods and revenue into the empire. It helped to create a vibrant economy. India exported many items. These included spices like pepper, textiles such as cotton and silk, precious stones, ivory, and exotic animals. In return, India imported goods like gold, silver, wine, and horses. The Guptas controlled important land routes and seaports. This facilitated trade and allowed them to collect taxes on commercial activities. The empire issued a large number of beautiful gold coins. These coins were called dinaras. They are known for their purity and artistic designs. They often depicted the Gupta kings in various poses, such as hunting or playing musical instruments. Silver and copper coins were also used for smaller transactions. This economic stability provided the foundation for many of the Golden Age's achievements. The wealth generated from trade and agriculture supported the royal court. It funded the construction of temples, monasteries, and universities. It allowed patrons to support scholars, artists, and writers. Guilds of merchants and artisans, known as shrinis, played an important role in the economy. These guilds regulated production, quality, and prices. They also acted as banks and provided financial services. The overall economic environment was conducive to growth and innovation. This prosperity was a key feature of the Gupta period. The Gupta society was generally peaceful and harmonious. Different religious communities coexisted. Hinduism, Buddhism, and Jainism were the major religions. The Gupta rulers themselves were often Vaishnavas, followers of Vishnu. However, they were tolerant of other faiths. They gave donations and support to Buddhist monasteries and Jain institutions as well. This religious tolerance was an important aspect of the Golden Age. It allowed people of different beliefs to live and work together. This created a stable social environment. It contributed to the overall cultural richness and intellectual ferment of the era. Grand temples were built for Hindu gods. Stupas and viharas, or monasteries, continued to be important centers for Buddhists. Section 10. Echoes of Gold, the Lasting Legacy. The Gupta Empire eventually declined by the mid-6th century CE. Internal weaknesses and invasions by the Hunas, or Hephthalites, from Central Asia contributed to its downfall. However, the achievements of the Golden Age left a lasting legacy. The contributions made during this period profoundly influenced Indian civilization for centuries to come. The ideas and innovations in mathematics and science spread beyond India's borders. They became part of the global heritage of knowledge. The concept of zero and the decimal system developed in India are now fundamental to mathematics and science worldwide. This is a very significant contribution. The literary works of Kalidasa and other writers set a high standard for Sanskrit literature. Their poems and plays continue to be read and admired. They are considered classics of world literature. The artistic styles developed during the Gupta period in sculpture and painting influenced later Indian art traditions. The principles of Gupta temple architecture also had a lasting impact. The ideal of a just and prosperous kingdom, as exemplified by rulers like Chandragupta II Vikramaditya, became a benchmark for later Indian kings. The stories and legends associated with Vikramaditya became part of popular folklore across India. The period also saw the consolidation of Puranic Hinduism. Many important Puranas, which contain stories of gods and goddesses, genealogies of kings and religious teachings, were compiled or edited during this time. These texts played a crucial role in shaping popular Hindu beliefs and practices. The peaceful coexistence of different religions, though not always perfect, set an example of tolerance. The universities like Nalanda continued to be centers of learning for many more centuries. They helped to preserve and transmit knowledge. The cultural influence of India also spread to Southeast Asia during this period and later. In conclusion, the golden age of India under the Guptas was a truly remarkable period. It was a time of immense intellectual brilliance, artistic creativity, and scientific advancement. The stability and prosperity provided by the Gupta rulers created an environment where culture could flourish. The achievements in mathematics, astronomy, literature, art, and philosophy were extraordinary. These achievements not only enriched Indian civilization but also made significant contributions to the world. The echoes of this golden age continue to resonate. They remind us of India's glorious past and its enduring contributions to human knowledge and culture. It was a time when India shone brightly.